These are Principe Borghese tomatoes. They're a grape-like tomato that's grown in Italy for sun drying. I don't sun dry mine, I dry them in the oven, and I'm going to show you how. So here's today's take out of the tomato patch. The other kinds of tomatoes that I grow, these are black Brandywines. They're unsurpassed for flavor. I also grow these. These are a Japanese tomato called a trifle. Again, as they ripen, they get almost dark burgundy color, fabulous flavor. Those I save for caprese salad. But the rest of these are the Principe Borgheses that we're going to work with. The first thing is a quick rinse. There's not a lot to know about this recipe. It's a matter of taking the stems off, whacking them in half, and scooping out the seeds. You don't want the seeds because they get kind of hard and nasty when they dry. And you don't want the extra liquid because it's just more that you've got to dry out. This is kind of what you're looking at. Here's a better shot with the tomato fully scooped out and cleaned. One thing I'll point out, you sure don't need it, but it's nice if you can. The fastest way to dull a kitchen knife is to expose it to acid. That's because the acid reacts with the steel and causes oxidation. I use ceramic knives when I'm chopping on anti-acidic food like tomatoes because they're completely chemically non-reactive and they stay sharp. This is a Kyocera ceramic knife that I've had for years, and I use it only on tomatoes. Now it's just a matter of arranging the tomatoes in a small baking dish. I've got a mini roaster that's great for John and me, and it fits in a small oven I've got, so I don't have to heat up a big oven on a summer day. This is about as full as you want them. You don't want to crowd the pan too much because they won't dry well if they're not in a single flat layer. I'm going to season these tomatoes with garlic, olive oil, salt, and pepper, and that is it. So I'm going to chop up a couple of cloves of garlic. Yeah, a little piece doesn't want to come off. There. And we'll have at it. Now I'm just going to sprinkle with chopped garlic and try to spread it around so that the tomatoes are covered reasonably evenly. Next, we have a sprinkling of salt. I'm using sea salt here, but feel free to use what you like. Then, pepper, a lot of it. Again, entirely up to you how much you want. Last step is olive oil. So I just put my finger over the bottle and start to shake. Again, you're not trying to flood it, but you want reasonably even coverage. So here's what they look like, ready to go in the oven. So I'm setting my oven as low as it'll go. So this is going to be around 200 or lower. Got the light on so you can see what we're doing. go in kind of the middle of the oven, then prop the oven door open slightly with a wooden spoon. You can tell this has been used on many occasions because the handle is blackening from the heat. And that's it for the prep. There's really nothing more to it than that. How long they take depends on how big your tomatoes are and how wet they were. The little guys like this probably take 2.5 hours at 200 degrees or a little less. If you got bigger tomatoes like an early girl, they may easily take 4.5 to 5 hours. Leave them in until you start to see some wrinkling on the surface. So these have been in 3+ hours. Let's see what we've got. So as you see, they are shriveled up from where they were. They're not completely dry, but the flavors have concentrated substantially. So now that you've got them, what do you do with them? I use them to top pizza. I throw them into pasta. I throw them into salads. Any place where you use sun-dried tomatoes, use these. They're absolutely wonderful. One thing to keep in mind, this is not a food preservation technique. This is a flavor concentration technique. So these won't hold at room temperature, and they won't hold indefinitely in your refrigerator. I will take these, bag them into 2 separate small bags, and freeze them. They keep perfectly for months. It's how I keep summer flavors available to me during an Iowa winter.